That's funny. Yeah, lots of going on. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So I was a little bit confused by your question this week.
What's that?
I was a little bit confused by your question this week.
What was the question this morning? I don't even remember it.
It was something about what do you do with what do you do? What power do you do with issues at work? Something like that.
Oh my goodness. I gotta look this up.
And I read it like 3-4 times and thought, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh. All right.
I was thinking about it in strategic terms. So I guess I figured you were saying, okay, what power do you can you deploy to issues at work? And then I thought, well, okay, so maybe he's talking about weaknesses and opportunities at work. So,
yeah.
So I said,
go ahead.
I said you can mitigate and exploit. You have the power to mitigate and exploit weaknesses and opportunities at work. But that's as far as I kind of thought I could understand your question. And it's not a bad question. I mean, it made me think for quite a while.
That's good. That's kind of that's one of the things I like. If it makes you think, unless it's worded poorly, that's a different thing.
Oh, you're really in the garage there, aren't you?
Yep. This is where I usually, or one of my often places. I'm on a new laptop right now, so I don't have the filter from the other one. Like half this morning has just been getting this computer ready to actually do my usual stuff.
So is it cold in there or?
Yeah. But I have a space heater at my feet. So that makes me able to not wear a jacket. That's about all it does.
So you get thrown out. You get thrown out of indoors by the other half, do you? You're going to go.
Sort of. I go back in after this because it's just better sound out here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's all kinds of stuff that. So let me see here.
We got Joey. Hey, Joey.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Good morning.
We always can rely on the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
That's right. That's the message we want out there.
If it isn't Joey, it's JJ. So, hey, any of your people going to join my strategic matrix talk on February the 22nd online with UNM?
Let me. Yeah, we will. Yeah, let's do that.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
It's an open link, so you can join in.
Okay.
And one of the things that I got asked to do, Adam, Joey, you might be interested in this. They didn't just invite me to be a guest speaker, right, for the business class. They asked me to construct 10 questions for them as well.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And so I put the 10 questions, and then I thought, well, I'll put the 10 questions, but I better put the answers as well, because otherwise, how are they going to mark it? Because I'm not going to see it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I sent it off to them, and she said, yeah, she's going to keep the answers, and then she'll give the questions to the class.
Phil, did you said you sent us the link?
No, I will send you one.
Okay. And Adam, me and JJ wanted to set up a call with you next week to pick your brain on some stuff. So a time that works for you would be great.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about it, and I've also been trying to make it to events, but it's been a good busy. It's just been busy.
Absolutely. No, I get it. There's a cool event coming up on the 13th that we're doing, kind of an in-person dinner and a conversation. It's Hotel Albuquerque, Sawmill, and Albuquerque Museum. So you can register for that. But there's also a great one on the 27th that I'm excited for as well, where we're going to go to Madrid and like kind of caravan there and eat at the Mineshaft Tavern and do a shop and stroll. So.
What are you doing at Sawmill?
So what we did was we were able to get a time at the Albuquerque Museum where for Hispano Chamber, for whoever registers for that event. And then dinners at Sawmill from 5 to, they're blocking off an area of us for us in the patio so we can socially distance and stuff, but still have an area to where we can kind of talk a little bit and network a bit. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I went to Sawmill for the first time last year. I think we were getting really bored of sitting indoors, so we found that you could actually eat outside at Sawmill, so we went down there.
Yeah, it's not too bad either. If you get the right spot, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard, Joey, I've got a new setup here because this laptop is new to me. So there's bits and pieces I've been putting together, and I additionally had I had to load Zoom in order to start today. I had to log into Meetup. I had to do all kinds of things that are not usually part of my morning deal. So we are live on YouTube. What's that?
What laptop have you got?
What's that, Phil?
What laptop did you get?
Yeah, this is a Lenovo. I did some research, and their 480 is like a return to something that's good, as opposed to like the last good one they had, according to the geeky folks that I was listening to on YouTube. The last good one was like 430, and the 420 was pretty good, but 440 sort of started a downward. They say it jumped the shark. So anyway, but one of the reasons I got this laptop is because I like refurbished. I like the idea of refurbished, for one, for a number of reasons. And then I also wanted to buy local. And, someone put more work into it more recently. That means they're probably going to get a more of a raise out of it. So, as they say. So the refurbished, it's, of course, I'm helping not put stuff in the landfills because there's all this technology that's not going away. And I also, it's one of the reasons I went with like Lenovo is because the ThinkPad is because they have parts you can remove and take off. I can change the screen. I can change the keyboard. I can do all kinds of things without like just scrapping the whole thing. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. Let's see here, what else? Oh yeah, so I also got a refurbished laptop because I'm able to buy it more locally in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But also the landfill thing, but also it's tested and it's proven tech, so like instead of getting something new where it's like everything is kind of like starting and happening, there's more hype about it out there, but there's not as much known, whereas this older stuff there's much more known about it. So
yeah,
so I'm glad I got a used laptop. But
yeah, it's old electronics is well, say old electronics, just electronics in general, is a problem for recycling. And there's a lot of precious metals in them, but you've got to have the capabilities of extracting them. And it's really different to my day because when I started work, I was a TV engineer. I started work as a TV engineer. I used to drive around people's houses fixing their TVs and their stereos, their stereo systems and all that kind of stuff. And, so in those days, when people didn't throw away stuff when it went wrong, you used to phone up the engineer and the engineer used to come around and fix it. And And then when it did get a bit too old or you wanted to upgrade from black and white to color, then most of the TVs that were not used in the UK were exported to South Africa or into Africa because they used the same system as in the UK, and they got reused again over there.
That's cool.
But today, I mean, if you've bought, even if you got like a 70-inch or a 90-inch flat screen, if it busts, you bin it and you get another one, which is crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
That's a good point. All right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna roll on. Huh?
Yeah, I used to earn a living rolling around every day, going in and out of people's houses, fixing their stuff.
Adam,
Kinda
where'd you
what I
get
do
your
now.
where'd you get your refurbished laptop?
The location was, I stopped at a couple places, and PC Fixer Upper. It's over on San Pedro. The fella is from Poland, and so anyway, he's neat to talk to. Real sharp place. He's got it very clean, and everything comes in there, and it's real nice. Also checked out some other places, and they it was basically another rare repair guy. Do you know some folks that sell refurbished laptops?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do. They're Microsoft certified. They do actually, they'll refurbish them and then a lot of times donate them to schools and stuff. So yeah, if you guys are looking to get rid of your laptops or even just look at buying a laptop, ABQ IT is a pretty cool place.
ABQ IT?
Yes.
Do they do Mac?
Yes, I believe they do. Yeah.
Because I'm a Mac man.
Yeah, Mac does not play well with refurbishing.
No, it's true. It is a bit more difficult, I think.
That's one of the reasons. The last thing I had was a Mac. That's what I was using before. So, ABQ IT.
I remember when Mac came out with the black and white versions of a laptop. I was working in San Francisco, a semiconductor company, and our company, everything was IBM machines, and the black and white MacBook. So one coming black and another one coming white, but they were the same models. We finally got really compatible with Microsoft and all the other necessary programs that you've required for work. And what used to annoy me with the IBM ones is you really had a hard time connecting to a network. I mean, back in those earlier days, I mean, it's not too long. This is like 2000s, all right? Early 2000. When you're trying to log on with an IBM, it just used to be a pain in the butt. It was always difficult to log on to a network. And I realized Mac just did it. I mean, you would go in and turn it on and it would just come on. So I bought one of those, and I was the only guy in the company that had a white laptop, and it was the only guy in the company. It was a Macintosh.
Sounds about right.
That's funny. All right, so they are. Where is this?
So Jefferson and Osuna, you're going south on Jefferson.
Oh,
Yeah, there's that street called Hawkins, I think it is. Yeah. And they have two places. There's ABQ IT, which does a lot of solution stuff. And then right next to it, it's ABQ Computer Recycling, I think is the name, but they're owned by the same person. We used to, when I worked for Xerox, we used to take our stuff to them for recycling, things like that. So that's kind of how I first heard about them. But then, with the chamber, they are a member of ours, and we've been talking to them about some initiatives and stuff. So
maybe I do know what this is. They, trying to think. Recycling. Are they? It looks familiar, or the page doesn't look familiar. Maybe they got a new screen, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And there's another place that does a lot of recycling: home services, professional IT services, managed IT, hardware sales. They don't advertise recycling or anything.
No, that's because they'll mention it where it says recycling company and electronics recycling company, but it's two different places, but owned by the same people. They're right next to each other though. So if you went to the showroom to go look at like refurbished computers, you would see there next to it is the building where you can take your stuff to get recycled.
It's they say they're a division of Albuquerque Computing and Electronics Recycling Company.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
So that's interesting. Professional IT services for any size business. Huh. Well, that's cool. So services, hardware sales. So that might be where you'd find something about it. This is I like to know this because, you know, when people are talking about their offices and what they're gonna like change or what they want, I want to be able to offer, you know, well, there's this and this, computer sales in Albuquerque.
Yeah, and they actually offer a different kind of IT solution. So it's IT solutions, but the way they price it and the way they handle it is it's pretty modern. I don't see a whole lot of it here in Albuquerque. So they've been doing really well because of that. They're able to help out businesses that are, you know, under 15 employees, which in a lot of times with IT solutions, that's not the case. Just for pricing purposes, they're able to handle those jobs. So they're able to help out all small business, which is really cool. And then obviously large businesses that they work with.
Okay.
Hmm.
Huh. Well, it's not
So
really
they,
easy.
they actually do recycling as well.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
they started off as, was recycling.
Yeah, that's cool.
To the business we've become an industry. Okay, well that's cool. I'm trying to figure out like how I could actually look at what their inventory is, and I suppose they probably don't have that on here.
No, I don't think so. They have a showroom, but yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, that's cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that, Joe.
I'm gonna definitely take. You said PC Fixer Upper.
Yeah, PC Fixer Upper.
All right, I'm gonna definitely look at them too. I love
Yeah.
learning about these IT companies here in town. So
They are over on, yeah, they're over on San Pedro.
Okay.
And he doesn't have much of a website, I don't think, but
okay.
Says, you know, PC Fixer.
Hop in and take him some PPE supplies.
Fixer. Yeah, that's the place there. .net. So real nice fella. He talks about things. He doesn't try to sell you stuff exactly. He tells you what it is. He says, well, these are the benefits and the downfalls of the thing, and lets you decide.
All right.
So he doesn't have like a huge stock, but
okay.
Yeah, but nice fella to talk with. So that's like half of his stock right there. And then that's his other
He's got
half.
a couple of iMacs there in the middle. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's not totally against Macs, so maybe he's your guy if you are looking for someone, Phil. Okay. I have someone who's trying to visit. No, cut it out. I'm doing a video thingy right now. I'm talking to somebody. All right. So go back out. No, go nuts. All right, head on out. Yeah, there you go. Oh. All right. Invasions of the little people.
Well, you had 3 people attending today.
Yeah, it's good. And we're kind of off to a really informal start, which is just fine with me. So we'll go back to this guy. So way we engage is challenges, attend at a whim, start at a whim, you know, that kind of thing. connect your business to the topic. And I'm a low maintenance guy, so these are just sort of a guide, these things, to kind of keep some consistency. You guys know the rigmarole, and the challenge question is, how do you decide when to lead from the background or from the front? That is not the question. That's actually not the question.
That
What
was
the question?
no, that was last week's question you had.
I thought I got myself all ready and I didn't.
Yeah,
Um,
that was last
right.
week's question, not this week's.
you said what
How?
power
What
do you?
power?
Oh yeah,
This week, what power do you see in the limits you have with your business? Did you answer that one,
That's
Joey?
I didn't. No.
Yeah, I scratched my head a little bit.
I'm gonna let you pick that one. Actually.
so that's good, because to me this is like the key of what my business is it's finding your limits. I mean, and actually that's really what everyone's business is. It's just mine's a little more, I think, honed in that's what I'm doing. And you're trying to figure out what limits you have, and then use those limits as a power. The reason, I guess, it is a pretty good thinker there. So no one had a good answer for that one, I guess. So they didn't feel.
Well, yeah, I did give you an answer.
Oh, what was yours again?
You can't see it. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and because I'm a strategic guy, I kind of think of things from that point of view. And I eventually come to the conclusion that he must be indicating, what do you do? What do you do with regards to weaknesses and opportunities in your organization? And so that was the answer I posed, that was the question. The answer I posed is, how do you mitigate and how do you exploit weaknesses and opportunities? And that would be using the power to mitigate and to exploit those two attributes. It's funny because this week I was talking with a lady, a very smart lady from PhD, who's the UNM faculty. And she's got a technology innovation she wants to take with the National Science Foundation. So I'm helping her with that. But she sent me a proposal that she sent to the National Science Foundation. And one of the things I like to do is, we spoke about this before, Adam, is do a SWOT on it. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so I swatted her. That's it, yeah. I swatted her proposal that she submitted to the National Science Foundation. And when you do that, I think SWOTs are really good for the initial doing it, because when you look at them, all right, so this is strengths, this is weaknesses, this is opportunities, and this is threats. What does that visual tell you? Visual tells you she's got a lot of strengths.
Oh.
She's got a few weaknesses, she's got some opportunities, and she's got a few threats. And these threats are mainly just competition. But when you look at that, you say, wow, this lady's got a product. All right. So I had a 2-hour coaching with her yesterday on how she should pitch this product, or not pitch the product, how she should go out to the market and find out if customers are interested in her product. And I said to her, because you're doing a startup, what you don't do is you don't go and sell what your product is. What you go and do is you talk to people that you think will use your product, and you ask them what they're using, how they're pleased with what they're using or dissatisfied, what could be better with what they're using, what they really hate about what they're using. And this is how you define whether you get a market or not for your product. So it was a good conversation.
That's
No,
cool.
the SWOT analysis is, I've done a couple. They teach you a lot about yourself, but they also teach your bosses and your peers a lot about you too.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
thing with the SWOT is really underestimated by people, all right? Because just think about these 4 boxes. You can use them for a whole company. You can use them for a division in a company or a department. You can use them for an individual. You can use them for a product evaluation.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, you can. They are so versatile. They're unbelievable. And most people don't understand the actual layouts of the SWOT. I mean, you've got it up there, Adam. How many of those 4 boxes, all right, that you got in the middle there, yeah? How many of those 4 boxes can you control as a company, a department, or a person? You have, out of those 4 boxes, how many of them do you have 100% control on?
100% control. That's asking a lot. Well, you don't have 100% control of anything, do you know?
Well, you have total control over how many of those boxes?
I have no, I really don't have a good answer for you here. What is going on?
Joey, what
is
do you
this
think?
Fave pain.
What do you think, Joey?
That's a good question that we have almost total control over. Opportunities.
And you see, your hesitation means you don't understand fully how you can use a SWOT.
I certainly don't. So
Well,
how do you use this? So how could you use the SWOT?
I think we have control over our strengths and weaknesses more than our opportunities and threats.
Right. So I'll tell you what you do have. You can mitigate and exploit, all right, everything that's in the strengths, everything that's in the weaknesses, all right? Because whatever's in the weaknesses, all right, is something that you can either change into a strength or you can get rid of it. So you have control over the strengths and you have control over the weaknesses. You also have control over the opportunities because they're opportunities for you to either exploit, and if you can't exploit them, then you get rid of them. Threats, on the other hand, all right, are outside influences that affect your business or your person or your organization or your department. And you may not very well be able to mitigate them 100% because some of those threats may be laws, like health and safety laws, for example. Yeah, you have to obey health and safety laws if you're running your business. So you can't kick them out. You've got to abide by them. So the only thing you can do is maybe mitigate them. So one of the things you could do is you could say, I'm going to take this health and safety law and I'm going to make this a strength because I'm going to make sure that all the people that work in my company abide by these laws, and we have a really good reputation on health and safety. And you may get an award for that. So now you've turned a threat into a strength. But the threat remains in your SWOT because it's a law and it's coercive to your business. Because if you don't do it, they're going to fine you and prosecute you. Yeah?
Yeah.
So the next question to see if you understand this, which of the boxes apply internally to you as a person or internally as a customer, and which boxes apply externally to you as a person, or externally to you as a company?
So I would guess that the strengths and weaknesses are the internal and the opportunities and threats are the external.
And you would hang out. What do you think, Joey?
I would say the same, but I feel like you're going to tell us otherwise.
You're absolutely correct.
Oh, cool. All right.
And weaknesses, all right, are applicable to the inside workings of an organization, a company, or a product, yeah, or a person. And the opportunities and the threats to the external side. Now, so you can split there. Now you've got the SWOT. You know you control 3 of the 4 boxes, all right. And now you know that the top 2 boxes on a horizontal plane are internal to your self and your company. And for you, Joey, your Chamber of Commerce, all right. Top 2 boxes apply to the internal workings of your Chamber of Commerce. And the bottom 2 boxes appertain to all the outside influences that you engage with.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So what boxes are helpful and what boxes are harmful? Now we're going to look at it not horizontally, but vertically.
What boxes are helpful?
So which ones are helpful and which ones are hurtful?
Are harmful?
Both supposed to be helpful?
Yep.
And that's tough.
That's my answer. I think they're all supposed to be helpful.
I think they're all very helpful in their own way, but some might be more harmful than helpful.
Yeah, that's a good answer. You've got all the information you want. So whether it's good or bad, and just to have that information because it's good or bad is very useful. The useful doesn't change the fact that it's either helpful or harmful. Okay, so we've looked at it on a horizontal basis. You got your strengths and your weaknesses up here, and you got your opportunities and your threats down there. Now we're looking at it like this. So at the left-hand side, your strengths and your opportunities are always helpful attributes to your organization or your person. And the weaknesses and the threats are always harmful to your organization or to your person.
That makes sense. And actually, when you simplify
It's looking at diagonal.
Sorry? Adam?
That's looking at a diagonal, isn't it? Or did I mess it up by switching around here?
No, this is good. What you've got up there, that big one on the right-hand side there, yeah. So now you know this, okay? You didn't know this 5 minutes ago. How do you think a SWOT, if you did a SWOT on the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, how do you think you would do? Do you think you'd have a lot more information?
Yeah, I would definitely have a lot more information. Man, if I did a SWOT on Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
It's for critical.
That's a good answer for that without
right. So what are the things?
I kind of want to.
So what are the things that you do up here? So the strengths, and let's go back to the strengths and the weaknesses internal. So the strengths and the weaknesses are what are the things that you're really good at? All right. And that's the underlying point to it. It's as simple as that. So whether it's a company and a department or a person, what are the things that you're really good at? Go in the strengths. And conversely, and the weaknesses, because we're looking internally, you're going to say to yourself, well, what are the things that we're really bad at? And that would be your weaknesses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you come down to your opportunities, and what you're doing there is you're looking for things that you haven't exploited, or that you haven't used, or you haven't thought of that you could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to remember the exact terminology I'm using for that. And then on the threats, okay, they're outside influences, and the opportunities are outside influences on your business that you can exploit. So one of yours in the Chamber of Commerce may be that, and you probably do this anyway, you work with economic development councils and you have partnerships with other Chamber of Commerces and things like that.
Mm.
So or you set up partnerships with business and things like that. And the threats would be, okay, what are the threats? Who's your competition? Yeah.
If there, I don't know about competition, but a threat is definitely as a nonprofit. We're limited on certain things. I don't think we have. I mean, I don't know if we have threats here, because we've all worked together, But I, as far as competition goes, but I do think a threat is being a nonprofit. You are, your hands are tied on some resources you can get and stuff.
Yeah. So on the just getting my notes up here.
I lost you there.
So opportunities are what new prospects, okay, should your organization exploit. And the threats are what outside pressures can your organization mitigate.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you've had a 10-minute training session on a SWOT. I bet you see it in a different light to what you did before. Because
Phil,
when
do you wanna send me a SWOT and I'll fill it out, and then next week we can review it for the first 5-10 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Sure. All right. I mean, if I get, if I can just take this lady's paper, read through it, and then build a SWOT. All right. You can do the same.
Okay.
Okay. And well, I don't need to send you the paper. You know the 4 boxes. You can put it all on one piece of paper, or you can have 4 different bits of paper, and just say one is each. And the attributes have to be entered into those boxes. And the reason that it's good to understand a SWOT is how it works is because people can often put the wrong attribute in the wrong, or the right attribute in the wrong box. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're saying you put so what you did is you took this lady's paper and you saw, okay, so that's a strength. I'll put it in the strength box.
Yeah.
And that's a weakness. I put it in the weakness box. That's a threat. And so then what you do after that is you use you're basically using the box thing again, and you're saying, okay, so where the strengths and the opportunities collide, I'm going to do something. So I'm going to try and see how I can really optimize that situation. And where the opportunities and weaknesses collide, is that a thing?
No, you won't get. There shouldn't be any collision, because you should. The attribute you put in each box has to be a definitive statement. All right. So it must be. Oh, right. So I'll give you a good example. All right. I did a SWOT with Harvard on the Tessai cleaning company for the Shinkansen trains in Japan. All right. And I actually used the SWOT in my book because it's a perfect example of how you can get a strength and a weakness, an opportunity and a threat that's all about the same overall attribute, but has different differences within the specifics of that attribute. Okay. And if you give me just a few secs, I can pull it up. And I can tell you that, there it is. All right. Employees were a strength, a weakness, an opportunity, and a threat. Okay. But when you look at it, say, okay, what were the strengths? Well, the strengths were the employees valued the teamwork, that they all worked together, and the culture that they had was cohesive and well disciplined.
Yeah.
All right. The
Yeah.
weaknesses were mostly the employees were part-time people. They had accidents, many accidents at work. Senior staff were scary and intimidating. They used to turn over 20 to 30 hires a month. The bosses used to scold and yell at the people, and following the actual procedure for cleaning the bullet trains actually delayed them getting the train out of the station, and the employees subsequently had a lack of confidence. So you got one attribute, and you can see that they got a huge value proposition in their teamwork and a strength, but they were bullied as employees. So what were the opportunities? Well, the opportunities were that the women, all right, or the cleaners, had a desire to want to help customers. So that's an opportunity. Employees, the cleaners used to benchmark the experienced cleaners. And why did they do that? Because the experienced cleaners knew how to do it a lot quicker and faster than the inexperienced ones. So they benchmark themselves to improve themselves. So that's an opportunity. Yeah. They found that, remember the one in the weaknesses, following procedures caused delays? Well, deviating, they found that if they deviate from the procedures, then they could cut the cleaning times. That's an opportunity. And the last opportunity that came out there was how to train the new younger people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you've got 3 boxes where one attribute appertains to all 3. The 4th box on the threats, recruiting talented employees was almost impossible, because in Japan, the work for cleaning is known as a dirty, difficult, and dangerous job. And in Japanese, it's katanai, kititsu, and kiken. So they call it a 3K job.
Oh.
Okay. So this is a threat to them actually getting people in. The prospect to recruit has a high job turnover because of the prospective recruits they bring in. They couldn't offer anything really much to get good, stable people in. They had to go to people that didn't have a lot of choices to go and get a job. Yeah. So that's a threat. And most of the future employees that were coming, likewise, because of their social status, had a history of career difficulties. So you have one attribute, employees, that is in every single box, but they've all got sub-attributes that help them. And because we spotted this with Harvard for them, they were able to turn around their cleaning times to meet the required time for a bullet train to be in a station. So a bullet train in Japan, which is the super fast trains, when it gets into a station, can only be there for 7 minutes.
Oh.
So that's all the passengers off, cleaned, and all the passengers back on, and it's gone again.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And so there's no, and you know, the other issues that they had were not all the trains had the right class coaches in the right places. You know, one train might have first class up front and the second class at the back. Another train, it will be reversed. Another train that have some first in the front and some in the back, or on things like this. So they had to work out how they were going to do all this. But because they identified the employees had 4 they had four key attributes. One in the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. They were able to bring it together, and they were able to actually improve their car cleaning seat increased 12% over 4 years, and the cost of cleaning also went down because they started not sticking to the rules of how you clean, but adapted the rules to what is the best way to clean.
Huh.
And the employees got better, and they got less shouted at and less scolded by the senior staff. There was lower turnover. There was fewer accidents. And now when you go to, if you ever go to Japan, you get on a bullet train, you'll see that these people standing outside waiting as the train comes in. You come off, they go on and blitz the train. And when they come off, they stand there and they bow as you go in the train.
Oh. So there's a lot more respect and interaction.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and all because you sat there and said, what is going wrong with this? Let's put it on a bit of paper.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, Joey, you've got 4 sheets of paper. One is strengths, one is weaknesses, one is opportunity, one is threats. It doesn't matter if you don't fill up the whole page. I mean, this one, you know, strengths, weaknesses, blank, opportunities, a little bit, threats. On my Shinkansen one here, I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can turn this around. Oops. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. All right. So on this, you look at that, the visual tells you there's more issues on the weaknesses and the threats, so they have a problem. There is less attributes on the strengths and weaknesses, so they have a problem. Yeah. The visual tells you when you do a swap, have I got more on the helpful side or more on the harmful side? And in Shinkansen, all right, on Tessai group, they had more on the right-hand side. So that's how you put a SWOT together, and that's how you understand the SWOT. And once you begin to understand how it works, then you can start to begin to build a strategy to improve those things. And that's what basically my book's about, data-driven strategies. I do 2 other matrices that work in conjunction with the SWOT after that. So maybe I should do a 1 million cups education process.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. You could. So there was a time you could have done that, Phil, and that would be like during the around the holidays. We often do a kind of a breakout thing where you go and, you know, did you go to the one where we broke out into different groups?
No.
Okay. Well, usually Miriam does a kind of New Year sort of like, you know, organized something or other presentation. That I don't know if you remember that from last year, but she did it again this year. But this time we also had breakout rooms, so you could go to hers or you could go to these other things. And so that we did have kind of like a little, like, you know, teach session. So we could put that on the docket, like, you know, when Phil. But you could talk about your book too, I wonder, as presenting about when your book comes out.
Yeah. Well, I'm on my. I'm currently completed my second proofread of the book. It's gone back to the publisher, so they're going now through the third proofread. But what they're also doing this time is taking it out of Word A4 document and putting it into a book format. And then we're going to go through a third proofread. So they're going to send me just 2 or 3 chapters back. I have a look and make sure the format looks good, and I send it back to them. Then they put the whole book into the format, and they send me the book electronically, and I go through the third proofread. And the proofread is just really going over the book, and you have a professional proofreader. I have to admit that I was skeptical at first, but when I do these projects, I always keep the copies. You know, like when I did my thesis for my degree, I start with version 1, and I ended up with version 10. Okay, and on my book, I started with version 1, and I'm on version 30.
Oi.
All right, and I was absolutely shocked when I got my first proofread back, because every single page of my book had 15 to 20 edit corrections. And you know, when you do on Word, Microsoft Word, you do edits, and
Yeah.
it can list it on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Every page was full up, and I'm going, you're joking, all right? And a lot of it was really, okay, comma in the wrong place here, full stop in the wrong place there, punctuations. But there were some obvious things, like I would say really too much and actually too much in the book. All right. And it hits you how bad your grammar is and how good it is once a professional proofreader has been through it.
Yeah.
And so
that's a limit.
after she did the first line, I was like blown away. And then I sent it back, and I thought, well, there can't be much on the second one. Well, you're wrong. Second one, all right. There's still quite a few things to sort out, and the structure of the book as well has changed enormously.
Yeah.
And I've completely rewritten the front and the introduction. So if I go back and look at version 1 and I look back at version 32, like, you wouldn't think they're the same book. So it was really, really very, very well done. I'm glad I did it. So anyway, getting back to, I've got one more proofread to do and formatting of the book, and I'm targeting that to be completed. So we should go for publication the end of February, certainly by the beginning of March.
That's pretty exciting.
And the only thing I'm struggling with still is, what's the title?
Ha! It's tough stuff.
I never realized how hard it is to decide on the right title to sell a book, because, and especially a business book, because you want it to be, they pick it up, look at it and go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what is my title for my book? You know, I don't have chapters. I have moves in my book. All right. I have a part 1. Yeah. I have part 1, which has 5 moves, and I have part 2. Part 2 talks about, if you're an international or national business, these are the things you need to know to actually run a business. Part 1 talks about the 5 moves to build a data-driven strategy.
Huh.
All right. So is my book, is my title 5 Moves to Competitive Advantage? Is it competitive advantage in 5 moves? Is it 5 moves to data strategies? Or is it data strategies in 5 moves? What's impactful when you pick up and look at the book?
Sounds like you need an A/B test.
Oh, what?
An A/B test.
That's interesting. What's an A/B test?
So you have different versions of something, and you try A and you try B on an audience, and you see which one has more of an impact.
I did that. I sent it out on email, and I've got some feedback, and one's leaning just a little bit more than the other.
Yeah.
And just a little bit more says to me, there's no clear definitive winner.
Not significant.
Yeah.
So the A/B test, I think, is a little more immediate than that. I mean, I think your method works fine, but the A/B test, from my understanding, is more like, kind of a, hit you right at the moment. Which one do you choose? Which one's more interested? A/B. Is that what all you did? Did you have like a selection, or did people like give you feedback of, well, I think this, oh, I think that? Because if you get their brains involved too much, they start spinning circles and writing about something they don't initially think of.
Yeah, and I even tried. So in answer to the question, yes, I just sent out 3 or 4 titles and said, "What do you think?" And I didn't get a front runner. And then I tried doing it on Twitter, and I sent out a poll on Twitter, and that just didn't materialize anything. So, so I'm still struggling. I'm coming up to publication date. I'm still struggling with the title, but it's going to be something along competitive advantage. I've got a subtitle as well. You can have a title and there's a subtitle, which is fine for a business book.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to keep data-driven strategies as the subtitle. And I just need to figure out and I think I'm leaning on competitive advantage in 5 moves. Because when you pick up a book, the first thing you're going to see is competitive advantage. And if competitive advantage is what you're interested in, you're going to carry on.
And you said 5 moves, it gives them like they have a parameter. I think that's sounds like a solid win to me. I'm going to stop you for a moment and move on here. So the thing that I usually do at the beginning is, the question was, what do you use your powers and with this? And the reason this is important to me is because the passion is how useful is it knowing your limits? And I think Phil did a pretty good job of showing how that can be really helpful. And this comes from Joycelyn Campbell, who I mentioned often, and Hazel's another organizer, and she talks about leveraging. And so that's the thing that I was like, oh, wow. So you can leverage these things. If you know about them, like you said, then you can leverage them. And of course, the limits is, well, that's the topic here. We kind of talked about our businesses. Joey's from Hispano Chamber of Commerce. Phil really had a good intro. He's even got a book coming up. And so that's the thing. And Flo. Next meeting is going to be are Horizons useful? And it's funny because it's kind of the same topic, but maybe it'll take a different angle. And there's the question you can ask about that. And so let's see if I move on from that. Okay, so what's your guys' ask for wrapping up here?
Mine's easy because Joey's going to do it. I want Joey to do a spot on his Chamber of Commerce and to send it to me. So Joey, phil.wilton, Wilton.
And also, Joey, when you do your ask, I'm going to go ahead and say, go ahead and if you had something else you wanted to mention today that we didn't get to, you can throw that in too.
Okay. Phil, what was it? Is phil.wilton at
Gmail. Actually, no, Joey, do it phil.wilton at Yahoo.
Okay.
And I'll look for it when you've done it. But take your time.
Okay.
Get to grips with it, and then I'll do an analysis of it. Remember a little while ago, I was trying to see if we could get a group of people to do SWOT analysis on business as a side venture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this could be a good start.
This will be interesting. This will be fun.
Yeah, we can make that one of the events later on.
I mean, it would take another Zoom session because we'd have to get everybody together and do the SWOT, and then you've got to analyze what do you think you would do with this company or with this organization to go forward.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we talk about that. All right, Joey, what's your ask?
My ask is everyone do a SWOT analysis. No, so I'm not the only one. No, it's go to our website, look at our events and register. If you guys are interested, we'd love to meet more people. But also register for PPE supplies. We have a ton to hand out and we'd love to hand it out, meet you guys. We just don't want you paying for it when you don't have to, and we have it for you. And then Adam, ask from you is me and JJ want to set up a meeting with you next week because we want to pick your brain on some stuff.
Look forward to it. I typed in the wrong thing here. I'm trying to look at your events page. I started typing SWOT.
SWOT's on the brain right now.
That's right. Well, yeah. So I'm in the middle of branding right now too, and like trying to figure out where I'm moving forward. So there's that. But there's another random question I have. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to ask the random question or continue with the thought I just started. which is that I'm working on my branding right now. So let me find this events page, and then I'll move forward to that.
At the top where it's the events tab,
It's covered by the.
and then community event or community events and calendar is the best one.
Did you guys get this redone recently?
Yeah, they've been working on it here and there.
So you guys are one of the few businesses that are actually thriving.
Because it might be that I'm just on a new laptop, and so it looks different, but
They
it's
actually
just a
have been
slight
doing-
tweak of something.
Yeah.
So,
It's not like totally
Joey,
different, but there's.
Yes.
Joey, I do have a question for you, and maybe it's an future ask. If the book does well, I was thinking of maybe getting it translated into Spanish.
What was that? Sorry.
If the book does well, my book does well, I was thinking on getting it translated into Spanish.
Yes, we can help you with that. That would be awesome, actually. And that's definitely a good move here in New Mexico and the Southwest, especially. Yeah, let's think about that. That's awesome.
Good.
I missed this Get Crafty last time, and I kind of want to do that one. But
That one was a lot of fun this past month. We had like 35 people on there, and one thing we did was we introduced each other's business. We spent time, like 5-10 minutes with another person from another business, and then we had to introduce them and talk about their business and sell them. So it got us thinking outside the box, but it was a good way to introduce people to each other. So yeah, I recommend that one. That's a good virtual event. We have a ton of fun with that. Our daycation and our staycations are right there. That's the new ones that are coming up. And then we have the free PPE products to register for. So we definitely want you guys to register for that and let us take you some products out there.
Yeah.
And then we will have another one next month that's not on there yet, and that'll be our Biz Gratis that we did yesterday.
Yeah, I missed it. How'd that go yesterday? I was with a client the whole time.
It was good. We had 47 people on there, so it was a good networking event. Yeah, we want them to grow. We just want it to be an easy transition from when we are able to do in-person things where, people get used to doing this and see the faces and the familiar. So when we start having events again back on campus later on in the year, hopefully that, no one's hesitant. It's normal. We just now got to shake hands and, share food and stories.
That's smart. Boy, I hope to make those. Well, thank you guys for coming today. I guess, yeah. And I like this. So I guess one of the questions that I have is, do you understand, like, if you understand what I have as my business, like what do I offer and that sort of thing? I think that's a good thing to get feedback on, especially as I'm trying to brand, and what of it you see as actually wanted out there. So those are good things that if you think of some of that stuff, then that's something maybe I should talk about one of these sessions, like, say, hey, what do we know? But I don't want to make it totally on me, because that would defeat I think the point of this particular type of meeting. But if you have some thoughts, go ahead and shoot them my way, and that's pretty cool. It'll help me with my branding and figuring out.
If you want to do branding is important, because it's an intangible asset that you need for your organization or for your company. So it may be good for you to do your own SWOT.
Yeah, I'm about to, because Joey asked me to.
And I'll help you through them. I'll go through them with you.
Well, it's a good segue for next week's session if we get those done. It's almost part 2 of this week.
Yeah.
The question. So it'll be cool to analyze it and hear what Phil has to say about it.
I like that. And Joey, I'll reach out to you and JJ here.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you,
Thanks,
Joey.
Adam. Thank you.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.